Welcome to our third annual Golden Bridge Builder Breakfast. Brother Willie Lewis is coming right now. I welcome, and I'm going to step out of the way. But I'll be back.
Good morning, brothers.
Good morning.
The fact that an individual brother works for Omega Psi Phi for 50 years implies that he has an end in mind, a goal, which is either in the near or distant future. In order for any brother to be effective in attaining this goal, he must first have the desire to bring perfection to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. Coupled with his primary goal is pride, the desire to bring perfection to himself, having performed his task successfully. Thus, the Golden Bridge Builders are the epitome of the pride of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. To the brotherhood present, thank you for your support of this unique program as we celebrate the class of 2015 of the Golden Bridge Builders of the 10th District. So I'd like to just thank you for coming. Thank you for being supportive of the program. And I'd like to have the former inductees of the Golden Bridge Builders to please stand at that table right there. Can we give them a hand of applause?
Good morning, brothers.
Morning.
Just pause for a moment of prayer. Oh God, our help in ages past and our hope in years to come. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Almighty and eternal Father, we're gathered here today as your people, as your children, as brothers of this Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. Out of love, Lord, you brought us into existence, and out of love, you fashioned each and every one of us in your image and your likeness. We thank you for the gift of this day, which stands upon the threshold of possibility and potential as we begin this weekend of service, celebration, recognition, and deliberation. We thank you, O Lord, for the inspiration from these brothers who continue to pave the way and bridge yesterday to today, as we fashion leaders for tomorrow with the wisdom and abiding fellowship and friendship that we even enjoy this day. Lord, cause them to continue to make an indelible impression and contribution to society as their lives, through the singing and service and will, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Bless those who have labored to bring us together today, for those who have been faithful over a few things. We thank you for your faithfulness to us and for blessings upon the fraternity we endear. Bless our nation, our president, and the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. Hear our prayer, O Lord. Keep us forever in your path, we pray. In Jesus' name. And all the people of God say, amen.
Good morning, brothers. Good morning. In Chicago, in the year 2011, the idea of actually looking upon us as gatekeepers became a reality. And as such, I'm reading the following. The Bridge Builders program is an attempt to honor the distinguished 50 years of service by our own brotherhood. It is with the utmost sincerity these brothers be accorded consideration for their undying leadership and steadfastness to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We are therefore conducting a series of interviews and videotapings for the archives of their life stories told in narratives. We feel that these narratives are the strength necessary to further bind us to a strong and firm brotherhood. A brotherhood that has always been distinguished by the quality of its membership. A brotherhood that is different but not deficient. Now, how is this possible? We collectively are a community of educated men whose lives are centered on the dominant notion that friendship is essential to the soul. Thus, this mantra for the fraternity is ripe throughout each of its individuals' contributions. Wherever these men have gone, they did so in bearing the full knowledge of its creeds, thus enhancing the flame of Omega. May we continue to forever strive, working in the clutch of Brother Carter G. Woodson's precept that impels all of us as being the talented 10th. In brief, we are that. We have marched towards the talented 10th ideal, which says, whom much is given, that much can be expected, as men in our community and as men of Omega. As that community of brothers, we have ultimately become a community that, quote, that covets its basic principles for scholarship, perseverance, and uplift, all ably supported by the conditions of one's character. the requisite embodiment of manhood. We feel that these stories are the missing chapters that give substantiated meaning to the lives of our young members. Young men, our own candidates, who come to us filled with uncertainty about their own futures. However, on a larger scale, it matters not if these young lives are our own brethren or those of our community. First, they were men of God. Second, men of family. And then, men of Omega. However, it is the greatness of Omega Psi Phi's history that compels us to tell and then retell again those stories about who we are and what we have become. These narratives are meaningless if we simply place them in a context of nowhere. These narratives complete the path to wisdom. Each of these men has shown how to bear and apply these powerful stories to the banner and mantra that is Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So, for many of our interviewees, gentlemen, being you, Omega has become a beacon in the midst of their college careers. For so many lives, Omega became the floating buoy that eventually lifted them and made life as a man determinable, definitive, desirable, and dignified. Life became determinable with these shared dreams and ambitions with the like-mindedness of Omega men. It is our purpose to conduct these 50 years of service projects known as the Bridge Builders Program. The establishment of a type of elders coalition is needed for the men of this high esteem. A coalition that meets and discusses fraternal matters that contributes to the influence and strengthening of fraternal relationships. These fraternal relationships act as support and maintenance of their long-standing traditions, the four cardinal principles. As each of you have done for some 50 plus years ago, we, the generations of brothers of Omega Psi Phi, stand ready to profess and to do service for Omega. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers. Good morning. The 2015 Bridge Brothers, they have seen me through. The first person in the class of 2015 is Brother Tommy Burton of New Omega Chapter, which will stand. For Brother Tyrone Davenport of New Omega Chapter. Brother Byron Lagarde, Iota Chapter. Brother Clark Lavelle, Capital 5 Chapter. Brother Joseph McCord, Sigma Omega Chapter. Brother Daniel Mosley of New Chi Chapter. Brother Wallace Peace of New Omega Chapter. Brother Walt Watkins of New Omega Chapter. And Brother John Wilkinson of New Chi Chapter.
And we have a special guest that we'd like to recognize is Brother Sam Epps. John Epps from New Chi Chapter.
Good morning, men of Omega. Good morning. Let me say it again. Good morning, men of Omega. Good morning. We have an indebtedness. Our first indebtedness is that to God Himself, who has allowed us to be here for 50 years. So let's give ourselves an applause. I say thank you to God for allowing us to be here and be in reasonably good health. For 50 years, members of this great organization called Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, we just say thank you. And we can never say thank you enough. But we have a tremendous responsibility as men, and we want to just think about that responsibility we have. Sometimes we think because we've gotten old that we can just sit back and enjoy those things that we've had all these years. But no, our work is out for us, cut out for us now. As we get older, our responsibilities really get greater because we are indebted to God and our community and our people. We have to continue to make that point that God looks at us and expects us to be good to those who've been good to us. and we have to share it and break it down to those. And so we have to look at these young people. And I'm mindful of a conversation that we were having at our table back here this morning about things that our young people don't know. Many of us are former school teachers. And I was just sharing with them that I was a high school teacher, taught history. But I was into a discussion with some young folks about geography, the difference in direction of north, south, east, and west. And come to find out these freshmen in high school did not know the directions, north, south, east, and west. And I said, the lake is east. And then one brother says, well, where is the lake? He had never been to the lake. He had never seen the lake. These are freshmen in high school. He had not seen the lake. And what about the loop? He had never seen the loop. But to cut this short, is that we have a responsibility to reach out and begin to teach and mentor our young people. Not only do we want to mentor those folks who are coming into our fraternity, but we have to go outside the fraternity and mentor our young people. Put our arms around them. As God has put his arms around us, let's put our arms around our young folks, our boys and girls, and embrace them and show them the path that we've taken to keep us where we are. And so we have to do, that's our responsibility. And it's not a responsibility that I'm giving you, it's a responsibility God himself has laid on our shoulders. So let's take it and be glad in it and be joyful that God has allowed us to continue to be here and to serve. God bless all you brothers.
Thank you, brother.
Good morning, brothers.
Good morning.
Brothers of the 10th District, the District Council, Brother Willie Lewis, Brother John Williams, members of the Golden Bridge Builders Committee, my fellow Golden Bridge inductees, brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. A former manager of the New York Yankees, who's not known as a brilliant philosopher, once said, when you come to a fork in the road, you take it. Sounds a little redundant, and as I said, he was not known as a brilliant philosopher. But it reminds me of a young man that I supervised as a young person. Went to the University of Illinois, came home, and said, Dad, I've been thinking. I have a number of friends that are Kappas, and they seem to be good people. I said, yeah, they are. And I've been considering maybe joining them. I said, okay. I said, that's your option. You're in a position to do that. But I asked you, who's going to pay your tuition? The subject quickly changed. But during the 50 years of travel, you come across a number of forks in the road. Along this journey, you share time with many personalities. Significant to the privilege of 50 years goes the privilege of service. And these two things elevate your commitment to any organization, but certainly to our fraternity. This is what us as members of Omega Psi Phi pledged to and shouldered as we surrendered to the ideal so dear to our hearts. Putting this in perspective leads all of us in one direction: our heritage, our beginning, from whence we've come. 4 visionaries with one common purpose. 4 thoughtful men crystallizing 4 dynamic and collective concepts. 4 champions that narrowed the spectrum of white light into 2 imperial colors, that being royal purple and old gold. All of this was done solidifying the banner of friendship. Realistically speaking, 50 years is only a segment in the history offered by 104. To be this fortunate as I am and my fellow inductees are to reach this station, our time frame is marked by the presence of giants of Omega Psi Phi that have touched us. To shake the hands of these and listen to them. The Honorable Judge Marion Garnett, Grand Bosses. Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, President, Morehouse College. Dr. Benjamin Hooks, President, NAACP. Bishop Edgar A. Love, founder. Manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. Those are the men that I recognized as leaders and champions of those 4 special words, those 4 special concepts. These giants and countless others were the models that set the standards for us. Their service, their gifts were the mantles this august group received and shared as the true meaning of our beloved fraternity. We know that no man is an island. If you can keep your head, we become the masters of our fate. We become the captains of our soul. Brothers, continue to reach and out and touch and develop the very best. Gold is a symbol of something precious. Let us all display nothing less than golden badges as we look and continue to share Omega Dear. We are thy own. Thank you, brothers.
Good morning, brothers.
Good morning.
Good morning, mighty men of Omega.
Good morning.
Good morning, mighty men of Omega Psi Phi.
Good morning.
All right. First off, I'd like to thank our chairman and co-chairman, Brother John H. Williams and Brother Willie L. Lewis Jr. for offering me this opportunity to speak here at the Golden Bridge Builder Breakfast Program here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. To our illustrious DR, Brother Stephen Watkins, our fearless leader, our first vice, Brother Tim Tyler, and the executive committee, District Marshal Glenn Matthews, and the host chapter, Kappa Phi, I greet you in the name of Omega. Brothers, my message will be brief and short in the interest of time so that we can move on to our next session. 50 years. 50 years. The year was 1965. 2 years prior to our founder, Brother Frank Coleman, entering Omega chapter. 3 years prior to the brutal assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. 2 years after the murder of John F. Kennedy. Hatred, racism, prejudice, segregation, drinking fountains, restaurants and lunch counters still carrying signs reading whites only. Civil rights, national identity, the ambivalence of assimilation, wage conditions, cultural divide, marginalization, propaganda, poverty, educated versus non-educated, Delta, Mississippi, cotton pickers, plantation, shotgun housing, Jim Crow, the northern migration, hegemonic tendencies, the black-on-black cultural divide, the destructive illusion that somehow Negroes were different. These were just some of the issues and conditions that these distinguished group of Omega men were beginning to address. The struggle for social injustice shifted into high gear with the active participants of sit-ins and other civil rights demonstrations. Moreover, undergraduate brothers especially were involved in the demonstrative aspect of the civil rights struggle. In 1961, Washington, D.C. Grand Conclave highlighted Omega's first 50 years of accomplishments. Founders, Love, Cooper, and Coleman were present. 13 of 23 former Grand Bosselai also attended this historic gathering. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for young brothers to mingle with some of the greatest black men that America had produced. It was 5 years after that a snot-nosed kid from the projects of East St. Louis, Illinois was born. A kid who grew up in poverty, not knowing his father, single parent who migrated from the Delta, Mississippi with GED, trying to care for 2 kids in the city of East St. Louis. But I tell you what, brothers, it was because of Omega men of your generation, like Leland Seabury Sr. and Tiger Jones, who gave me my first opportunity with track and field and cross country. Omega men of your generation like Ron Carter, who gave me the experience of a lifetime by allowing me to play in the jazz band and receiving a full scholarship to Jackson State University. Men of your generation like Paul Adams, who's the director of bands at Jackson State University, but now he's the director of bands at Norfolk State University, who single-handedly guided my path through Jackson State through love, tough love I may add, and a semblance of respect, loyalty, discipline, commitment to excellence in serving mankind. Omega men of your generation like Hollis Dozier, Paz D.R. Frederick Burke, Don Lee, and the list goes on and on. Men like New Cot founder, Brother Raymond Paradise, who is a past Golden Bridge Builder recipient and who is present today. Brother Paradise, would you please stand? Men of your generation like Brother Danny Mosley and Brother John Wilkerson, who are the founding members of Southern Illinois University Tau Gamma chapter, who are recipients this morning as well and are present today. These brothers are actively engaged in the Omega process to this very day, always at the meetings after 50 years, proactive, still working their behinds off to not only ensure Omega's success, but the city of East St. Louis and the next generation of Omega men. John, I'd like for you to stand at this time as well, please. Yes, stand, John.
Be careful.
Come on, we gotta go to the next session. Stand up. Love you, brother. Thank you for everything. Men of your generation like New Kai's own, Brother Charles A. Bruce, who mentors me without me even knowing it most times. A brother with character, integrity, commitment. And you should see him watch during our International Achievement Week calls. He's something to behold, something to watch. I love him dearly, and God bless you, Brother Bruce. I won't speak ill. We can clap for Brother Bruce. He's all right at times. He's all right. I don't care what Hondo says about you, Brother Bruce. We love you. I won't speak ill of our next generation other than to say that we have a host of challenges like generations before us. But because of your legacy, your time, your teachings, your songs, our poems, See It Through, Invictus, Tuatina, Bridge Builders, If, Members versus Man, Live Your Creed, we will guide Omega through leadership, manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Brothers like our D.R. Stephen Watkins, our first prize brother, Tim Tyler, proven leadership with Dale Jones and Roland Thorpe, my hero, Sean Long, the outstanding Larry Smith, Ezel Mars, Glenn Matthews, Walt Buchanan, Arnold Simmons, Brother Keller, Johnny Lynch, my big brother Kermel Knox, Dwight Pointy, Larry Hondo Boyd, Larry Moon, Ron Hughes, Jenny Washington, John Epps, Clark Lavelle, Bernard Rice, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Emerging leaders like Brother Derek Ivory, Brother Bryce Walker, Marcel Clark, Relius Jefferson, Doug Capers, Jason Ford, Reginald Box, Tony Edmonds, Kenyatta Marshall, Eric Gilkey, Anton White, Alex Beeman, Terrence Lane, Jason Smith, Jason Poindexter, Dave Lee, Fred Sappho, Jimmy McCoy, Keith Bullock, and my young proteges, Brother Brandon Byers, Brother Charles Young, and Brother Anthony Williams. Those are just some names that come to mind, brothers. But we have so much talent across the 10th district. Omega continues to flourish largely because of our founders, our bridge builders, and our legacy. But not only that, it's because of you. Cooper, Coleman, and Just, and Love were men of the very highest ideals and intellect. The founders selected, and attracted men of similar ideals and characteristics. It is not by accident that many of America's great black men are, or were, Omega men. So in closing, because I said I'll be brief, God bless our past recipients. We love you, we honor you, we cherish you. We will continue your legacy. You have my solemn oath. We will make sure that Omega's reign, or will reign for the next 100 years. So may God bless the 2015 inductees of the Golden Bridge Builders Program, and may God bless the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. God bless you, and thank you.